Okay, so we just finished a 3-year research study. Interviewed over 300 sales executives, tested dozens of sales teams, and thousands of salespeople. And we were trying to determine what it was exactly that they're doing on sales calls that's working and not working. Okay, from the interviews, here's what we heard from the sales executives. They said it really boils down to 4 key mistakes. 70% of all salespeople make the same 4 mistakes on most of their sales calls. The first one is talking too much, taking too long to get to the point. The second one is they can't ask the kind of questions that generate maximum results. The third one is they can't get their point across in such a way that resonates with real value, that ties into those big solution value propositions and competitive advantages and differentiating factors. They just can't tailor that message when they need to. And finally, they don't start their calls with focus, with a good agenda, and they don't end it with action steps that move the process forward. So they told us those are the 4 key mistakes, but they also said the number one challenge they have as a sales organization, their biggest systemic problem, is just ineffective frontline sales coaching. Their sales managers that manage the salespeople are unable to do the kind of coaching that really moves the needle and teaches their salespeople how to sell the way top performers do. So that's really where we need to start, is training frontline sales managers how to run drills and practice sessions the same way that sports coaches do, so that they train their salespeople how to sell the same way that top performers do. So the next thing we did is we started looking very closely at the best coaches in the world, which tend to come from athletics, from the military, and from the performing arts. Sports coaches clearly have mastered the art of training their athletes to get better day after day, week after week, and month after month. The first thing is that sports coaches train in such a way where they incorporate repetition and practice on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. You know, in simplest terms, they just practice more. Most sales teams are going to improve a lot quicker if the sales manager just schedules more practice with their people. The second thing is they focus on core skills. Core skills like speed, strength, agility, stamina, coordination. You see, they work on these skills every single day because they realize that athletes improve in small increments, 1% at a time. They focus on these things every single day while they're learning how to run better plays and learn to play their sport better and learn to work as a team better. But this is something that most sales managers just aren't doing. They don't practice with their salespeople on the core skills. Things like better listening, being able to get your point across clearly and concisely, being able to ask questions and position questions with effective insights and summaries, how to listen, how to summarize at the right time, how to start a call with an effective agenda. You see, it doesn't matter what your sales process is, it doesn't matter how long your sales cycle is, these are core selling skills your people need to be able to do on virtually every sales interaction. Those are skills that we can practice, but all too often sales managers don't do it. Think of how much money is being lost by sending salespeople out with those poor habits. Another thing that sports coaches do that is really different is they use repetition. They work on the same skills and the same drills day after day because they know it's the repetition of those drills that build strength and speed and coordination and stamina. Unfortunately, on most sales teams, salespeople practice a new drill maybe once or twice, do a role play here or there, and then they move on, or in many cases, do no practice at all. And they learn by doing on actual sales calls. So they form habits on sales calls that don't necessarily work. You know, what we've found is that most sales organizations should focus more time and energy on training their sales managers how to train their people in their sales meetings. Train your sales managers how to coach, train, and practice the same way that elite sports coaches do. So here's the thing. If sales managers start learning how to run their sales meetings the same way that sports coaches run their practices, they're going to steadily improve their salespeople's performance and break those 4 bad habits. So the more of that kind of training, practice, and drills your sales managers do, the better results you're going to get. So let's talk for a moment about what sales managers need in order to be able to coach that way. The first thing they need is a practice system. See, this is what sports coaches have. They have a practice field, they have the equipment down there, they have the drills, they have the stations, they have all the things they need in order to put their athletes through practices that really move the needle. But most sales managers don't have this. So they're expected to improvise and kind of make it up meeting after meeting. And as a result of that, they aren't very good at it. You see, it's just not realistic for sales leaders to think that their frontline sales managers are going to figure out a complete holistic practice system. The organization has got to provide that for them. And finally, they need to be coached on how to coach. Most sales managers need a coach that can show them how to run drills, how to practice with their sales team, and how to run a fantastic sales meeting. That's why we really have found that most sales organizations are going to improve much quicker if they focus on improving that sales meeting. So here's what we recommend based on all this research, all the interviews, and observing thousands of salespeople. That weekly or monthly routine sales meeting, that is the absolute perfect place for sales managers to be inserting drills, training, and practice so that they can train their people to sell the way top performers do. The best place to start is focus on transforming the sales meeting. Show your sales managers how to run effective, skills-building, drills-based practice sessions in their sales meetings. This is the quickest way to transform your culture, transform the way your sales manager coach, and transform the way your salespeople sell.